Hi everyone, I wanted to share a little bit of a story behind my very first song release. It's been a long time coming, and I'm honestly pretty excited to take you guys on this journey. But before we do that, let's rewind it a little bit. Music has been a part of my life for a really long time, and I wasn't necessarily a music fanatic, but I do recall a very important period of my childhood. That being when I got my first guitar. This was really the point where I was first introduced into melodies and harmonics. Not necessarily the theory of it, but its existence in deeper, in a way, less culturalized music. It's when I got into those more complex bands like Rise Against, Blink-182, and 3 Days Grace. I was told I had a really good and strong singing voice, but I didn't have any friends to make any groups or bands with. The closest I got was making a guitar club in high school where I taught other people how to play guitar off of the little knowledge that I gained myself from YouTube videos and practicing on my own. But honestly, time and the lack of resources really stifled that passion that I had waiting inside me. Fast forward to 2020, we were all stuck indoors, and I had this unfed creative passion that was just starving inside of me. Usually I had done things like photography, create YouTube videos, things of that sort, but I didn't really have anything to take photos of or to vlog about. That's when I decided to do some research about how to start producing music. And I found out it wasn't really that hard to start. So I signed up for a music production class with my university, and I immediately just threw $200 at FL Studio. I was like, take my money. And I started throwing countless hours into this craft, just trying to develop my type of sound. I eventually started making tracks that I felt like were deemable, posting on platforms like SoundCloud. That was really the only one I posted it on. But of course, I made my fair mistakes. For the most part, there were just a few songs that had messages that were just a little bit too direct to someone. And looking back now, I definitely cringe at those songs. But in a weird way, those songs really were what shaped me into the artist that I am today. Definitely an artist. There's just degrees to it, you know? It was all really a learning process as I kept like pushing my creative boundaries further and further. I privated a lot of those songs. I've privated a lot of those. See, I should be able to say that because I've put a lot of those songs on private since then because of the message that they had, but I wouldn't ever delete them, honestly. I faced a few challenges too. I really started to question myself more whether I would ever be able to make a song that was ready for release on public platforms, that is. Like SoundCloud, it's SoundCloud, but like Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube Music, Tidal, things like that, like Amazon Music. Was I really ready to post music on platforms like those? The more I learned about music production and singing and rapping, the more I noticed that extensive gap in skill and passion between myself and artists that are really A tier, ones that really inspire me and that are up there and get put on the magazines and get the top hits, the platinums, the golds, all those, you know? But I ultimately kept pushing because, you know, I just have creative passions, you know? That's reason enough to keep like practicing and learning. And at the same time, it really keeps teaching me about like self-growth and like patience. Nothing ever seemed to click. I kept making songs, but none of them gave me that moment where I was like, this is it. This is the one I'm posting. This is going up on platforms. I never had that moment for like ever. But every time I really found myself recording and editing my vocals on these tracks, I felt myself just inching closer and closer to something. Around September of 2021, I joined a Treehouse Records at UC Merced. I met a lot of amazing people. Rachel, Eduardo, George, Josh, Steven. There's many more that I could name too. And then around a year later, November 4th of 2022, I performed my first song live in front of what literally could be named one of the smallest crowds I have ever seen. But a lot of my friends were there and I was a little drunk, which ultimately made that night really great. Not too long after, I graduated from UC Merced. That gave me a lot more free time to start planning out things and fleshing out old tracks and beats that I had sitting on this old hard drive. And now, that leads to the present. This is where I start talking about my debut single. This song isn't necessarily a culmination of all the hard work and passion that I've put into making my own music. It's definitely not even the best thing I have on this computer. But at the same time, it's something that I want others, including myself, to hear because it's like a screenshot of where I've been in terms of skill and talent, you know? And I definitely know a year from now, I'll be looking at this song the exact, like, not exactly the same way, but in a similar way to how I look at the songs that I have on SoundCloud right now. I'll cringe just a little bit, but I'll also smile. What I'm also trying to say is that this song is one of many to come. It really might just be another creative phase like everything else that has been on this YouTube channel, and that's okay. But as of right now, I know that I aspire to make some beautiful creative projects. I want these things to speak of my dreams, my challenges, and the emotions that I've faced. It's a strange feeling to know that this song's actually gonna release, and a part of me almost doesn't want it to be released. It's also because like it's not a perfect song. It definitely isn't. But it's one of the first songs they ever performed, and it's one of those first songs that sounds like Just John. In the end though, I'll be releasing the song on the 7th of July. This will be on all streaming platforms, Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon, whatever you use, it'll be on there. So make sure you guys mark your calendars. And if you don't want to miss any like crucial details, you guys can follow me on Instagram too. That's where I'll be posting more sneak peeks and stuff. And if you guys aren't subscribed, make sure you guys do that. Don't forget to hit that notification bell too, so you guys can stay up to date to more content that I post on this channel. And thank you guys for watching. Gotta do the whole entire arm reach.